Emily sat alone in her small apartment, staring blankly at overdue bills stacked on the table. Despite working 2 jobs, the weight of mounting debt was crushing her spirit. The shame and fear of failing weren't just about money, they gnawed at her self-worth and hope. This silent struggle, hidden behind smiles, is the invisible crisis many face before financial ruin takes hold. Emily's story was not unique. Across the United States, millions of people teetered on the edge of financial collapse, but what made their situations far more complex was the emotional toll that accompanied the growing numbers on their statements. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the overwhelming shame, anxiety, and deepening depression that slowly crippled their ability to make sound decisions. Experts warn that emotional distress plays a critical role in financial outcomes. A 2023 study by the Federal Reserve found that nearly 40% of American adults reported significant stress over their finances, a factor strongly linked to poor money management and increased risk of bankruptcy. In Emily's case, her mounting credit card debt and growing medical bills were mere symptoms of a deeper problem, a rising sense of helplessness, isolation, and fear of judgment. She felt trapped in a cycle of silence, unable to share her struggles with friends or family due to the stigma surrounding financial failure. This social isolation only intensified her emotional suffering, making it harder to seek help or find effective solutions. Financial advisors and psychologists increasingly emphasize that overcoming financial distress isn't just about tightening budgets or finding new income streams. It starts with addressing the psychological barriers that prevent recovery. Therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and mindfulness techniques have demonstrated significant benefits in helping people rebuild not only their finances but their mental resilience as well. For Emily, the turning point came when she finally admitted her fears and sought professional support, breaking the silence that had kept her trapped in despair. Recognizing that emotional health profoundly influences financial behavior became the foundation of her recovery journey. This insight empowered her to confront her problems head-on, leading to improved decision-making, renewed hope, and gradual financial stability. In the vast landscape of financial hardship in the United States, the reasons behind personal bankruptcies often intertwine deeply with psychological challenges, making the path to recovery complex and multifaceted. Emily's experience reflected a broader reality underscored by both financial experts and mental health professionals. The most significant threats to financial stability rarely come from income alone but from the emotional and cognitive struggles that cloud judgment, undermine decision-making, and ultimately drive people toward financial ruin. Research from the American Psychological Association reveals that financial stress ranks as the leading cause of anxiety and depression among adults in the U.S., with nearly 60% of individuals citing money worries as their primary source of emotional distress. These emotional burdens create a dangerous, self-perpetuating cycle. Stress triggers poor financial choices, such as impulsive spending or avoidance behaviors, which then worsen debt and heighten stress even further. This vicious loop can accelerate a person's descent into insolvency, especially when coupled with feelings of shame or embarrassment that prevent seeking help. For many, like Emily, sudden life events, such as unexpected medical bills, job losses, or family emergencies, can spark the initial financial crisis. Yet it's often the emotional response to these events that determines whether someone spirals into bankruptcy or finds a path forward. Statistics illustrate this point. Approximately 30% of bankruptcies in the U.S. have a strong psychological component, where emotional distress impairs the ability to act constructively. Moreover, a 2022 survey by the National Endowment for Financial Education found that individuals with strong emotional support networks and financial literacy are 40% more likely to recover from financial setbacks. These findings have prompted experts to recommend integrated solutions that address both financial education and mental health. Instead of solely focusing on budgets and debt reduction, effective recovery programs now incorporate stress management techniques, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and community support groups. Such approaches help individuals rebuild their mental resilience, reframe negative thought patterns, and cultivate healthier financial habits. Emily's journey embodied this holistic approach. Recognizing that her emotional wounds had to be healed before she could repair her finances, she engaged in therapy sessions that focused on cognitive restructuring and mindfulness. These practices helped her confront the fear and shame that had kept her paralyzed, allowing her to regain control over her spending and debt. Alongside financial coaching, she gradually rebuilt her confidence, learned to set realistic goals, and embraced a proactive mindset. This multifaceted strategy is supported by emerging data. Participants in combined financial and psychological interventions report higher rates of long-term success and lower relapse into debt. Emily's story highlights a vital lesson: true financial recovery demands healing the mind as much as balancing the books. By addressing the root causes of anxiety and developing effective coping mechanisms, individuals can break free from the trap of financial despair and begin to rebuild their lives with renewed hope and stability. After months of feeling overwhelmed and trapped in a seemingly endless cycle of bills, calls from creditors, and sleepless nights, Emily came to a critical realization: she could not climb out of her financial hole alone. The emotional weight she carried was too heavy to bear by herself. The practical challenges, mounting debt, unpaid bills, lost opportunities, and the constant pressure of financial uncertainty, only deepened her despair. Yet amid the darkness, a spark of determination ignited within her, pushing her to seek out strategies that addressed not just her finances but also her mental and emotional well-being. This dual approach would prove crucial for her recovery. Emily's first step was embracing structured financial planning, but not the rigid, one-size-fits-all budgets she had tried before and failed. She partnered with a compassionate financial counselor who understood that recovery required more than math and spreadsheets. This counselor recognized the psychological impact of financial stress and helped Emily design a realistic, flexible budget tailored to her unpredictable income from 2 part-time jobs. Together, they developed a plan that balanced paying down debt with covering essential living costs. One that Emily could emotionally commit to without feeling overwhelmed by guilt or frustration. This personalized budgeting approach empowered her rather than punishing her. Parallel to her financial restructuring, Emily began practicing mindfulness and engaging in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to tackle the emotional barriers sabotaging her progress. CBT helped her identify and challenge destructive thought patterns. Like catastrophizing her debt, believing she was undeserving of financial stability, or assuming she would never recover. Mindfulness techniques helped her stay grounded during moments of panic or anxiety. By reframing these thoughts, Emily reduced her stress and anxiety levels, gaining mental clarity that translated into more rational, confident financial decisions. Research indicates that individuals using CBT for financial stress experience up to a 30% improvement in managing both their emotional well-being and financial behaviors. Realizing she needed community and support, Emily joined a peer support group made up of people facing similar financial hardships. The act of sharing her story and listening to others' struggles shattered the isolation and shame that had weighed her down for so long. This group not only offered practical advice about budgeting and debt repayment but also provided emotional encouragement, accountability, and hope. The sense of belonging helped reinforce her commitment to recovery during difficult days. To address her debt head-on, Emily learned to negotiate with creditors, securing manageable payment plans that didn't stretch her too thin. She educated herself on debt repayment strategies like the snowball method, paying off smaller debts first to build momentum, and the avalanche method, which targets high-interest debts first to save money long-term. She also made a habit of regularly monitoring her credit reports to avoid surprises and rebuild trust with lenders, an essential step in regaining financial control. Education became a cornerstone of Emily's journey. She enrolled in online financial literacy courses covering budgeting, saving, credit management, and basic investing. This knowledge gave her a newfound sense of empowerment and control over her future. Data from the National Endowment for Financial Education reveals that individuals with financial education are 50% less likely to relapse into debt after recovery, highlighting how crucial ongoing learning is in building lasting financial health. Months into this integrated approach combining financial planning, mental health work, social support, and education, Emily began to see tangible, life-changing results. Her anxiety and stress gradually decreased, she steadily gained control over her expenses, and her credit score started to climb. More importantly, she rebuilt her confidence and nurtured hope for a sustainable, secure future. The trauma of past financial mistakes no longer defined her. Emily's story underscores a vital truth. Overcoming financial collapse requires more than balancing numbers, it demands healing the mind, cultivating healthy habits, and building a support system. When financial planning is paired with psychological tools, community encouragement, and ongoing education, it creates a powerful path not only out of debt but toward lasting financial security and emotional resilience. As Emily's confidence grew, she began exploring additional ways to stabilize her financial future beyond just budgeting and debt repayment. One of the key lessons she learned was the importance of diversifying income streams, a strategy that has become essential in today's unpredictable economy. In the U.S., where the gig economy has expanded rapidly, millions are supplementing their main jobs with freelance work, part-time gigs, or side businesses. This diversification not only provides extra cash flow but also creates a safety net when unexpected financial shocks arise. Emily started small, offering tutoring sessions in her community and selling handmade crafts online. These side hustles were more than just income generators, they helped her regain a sense of purpose and control, turning what once felt like insurmountable obstacles into manageable challenges. Studies show that individuals with multiple income sources are 25% less likely to experience financial distress during economic downturns. Alongside increasing her income, Emily became interested in basic investing, something she had always thought was out of reach. With guidance from her financial counselor, she began contributing small amounts to a retirement account and learned about low-risk index funds, which historically have provided steady returns over the long term. This knowledge shifted her mindset from short-term survival to long-term growth and security. Of course, investing came with risks and required patience, but Emily viewed it as another step toward reclaiming her financial independence. She discovered that building wealth isn't about quick fixes or risky gambles, it's about consistent, informed decisions that grow over time. According to a 2024 report from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, 70% of Americans who begin investing early, even in small amounts, have a significantly better chance of financial stability in retirement. By blending increased income, smart investing, and ongoing education, Emily was constructing a financial foundation far more resilient than before. She learned to balance spending with saving, plan for emergencies, and set achievable goals that motivated her daily. This multi-pronged approach not only protected her against future crises but also empowered her with financial freedom she never thought possible. Emily's story illustrates the power of taking control through diversified income and intelligent investments. While the path to recovery is rarely linear, building multiple streams of income and investing wisely can transform financial insecurity into lasting confidence and stability. With her finances more stable and her emotional health on the mend, Emily faced the critical challenge of maintaining her newfound financial security over the long term. The lessons she had learned through months of struggle, about budgeting, mental resilience, diversified income, and investing, now needed to be woven into a sustainable lifestyle. This transition from recovery to ongoing financial wellness is where many individuals falter, but Emily was determined to build a future that could withstand life's inevitable ups and downs. Emily focused on creating an emergency fund, a vital safety net recommended by financial experts. She set a realistic goal to save 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses, an amount that would cover rent, utilities, food, and other essentials in case of sudden job loss or unexpected expenses. This fund wasn't just a financial buffer, it was a psychological anchor, reducing anxiety and giving her peace of mind. According to a 2023 study by the Federal Reserve, 40% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing or selling something, highlighting the importance of this practice. Alongside saving, Emily committed to continuous learning. She made financial education a regular habit, reading books, attending webinars, and following trusted financial advisors. This ongoing knowledge helped her stay informed about market changes, tax laws, and new investment opportunities, empowering her to make better decisions and avoid pitfalls. Emily also revisited her goals frequently, adjusting her budget and savings plan as her income and expenses evolved. This flexibility allowed her to stay on track without feeling restricted. She recognized that financial security is a dynamic process that requires attention and adaptation, not a one-time fix. Perhaps most importantly, Emily nurtured a mindset of gratitude and discipline. She celebrated small victories and remained mindful of the emotional triggers that once led her astray. Maintaining mental health through therapy and support groups became a lifelong commitment, ensuring she wouldn't fall back into old patterns of stress-driven spending or avoidance. Her story is a testament to the fact that building a sustainable financial future is about more than accumulating money. It's about cultivating habits, resilience, and self-awareness. Emily transformed from a person overwhelmed by financial despair into someone who owns her financial narrative with confidence and hope. By integrating emergency savings, ongoing education, adaptable planning, and mental wellness, Emily's journey demonstrates how anyone can create lasting financial security. The path requires persistence, learning, and emotional strength. But with these tools, it is possible to not only survive financial crises but thrive beyond them. As Emily's journey toward financial stability reached a pivotal milestone, she took time to reflect on the profound transformation she had undergone, not just in her bank account, but deep within her sense of self and future outlook. The painful lessons she had learned through months of hardship had done more than simply rescue her from the edge of bankruptcy. They had fundamentally reshaped her approach to money, responsibility, and resilience, paving the way for a durable and empowered financial future. Emily realized that achieving financial security was not a one-time victory but a continuous process, one that demanded ongoing attention, adaptability, and growth. She continued to actively diversify her income streams, gradually expanding her side businesses beyond tutoring and crafts into online consulting and small-scale e-commerce ventures that aligned with her interests and talents. This flexibility in generating income gave her a crucial advantage, enabling her to withstand unexpected economic shocks and career changes with confidence. According to research by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, workers with multiple income sources demonstrate 35% higher financial resilience scores, as they are less dependent on any single job or revenue stream. Investing remained a central pillar of Emily's long-term strategy. Building on her initial steps into retirement accounts and low-risk index funds, she began to educate herself about more advanced investment opportunities such as dividend stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Her growing financial literacy enabled her to thoughtfully balance risk and reward, creating a diversified portfolio designed to weather market fluctuations and generate sustainable growth. Data from the U.S. Investment Company Institute shows that households who regularly invest and engage with their portfolios tend to have 40% higher net worth compared to those who do not participate actively in investment markets. But Emily's journey was not just about numbers and assets. It was equally about mental and emotional well-being. She continued her commitment to therapy and peer support groups, understanding that a healthy mindset was foundational to making wise financial choices and avoiding the traps of impulsive spending or paralyzing anxiety. This holistic approach to financial health helped her maintain clarity and emotional balance, preventing relapse into old habits that had previously led her into debt and despair. Moreover, Emily embraced a new role as a mentor and advocate. She began volunteering with community organizations that provide financial education and counseling to those facing hardship. Sharing her story, insights, and strategies gave her a renewed sense of purpose and helped her reinforce her own financial habits. The act of giving back deepened her understanding of the systemic issues many people face and motivated her to continue learning and growing. This sense of connection and contribution added a powerful emotional layer to her financial resilience. Ultimately, Emily's experience is a testament to the truth that financial recovery is not a fixed destination but a lifelong journey, a continuous cycle of learning, adapting, and strengthening one's resources and mindset. Her story illustrates how even those who have faced the darkest moments of financial crisis can rebuild their lives, emerging stronger, wiser, and more secure than ever before. It reminds us all that with patience, education, emotional intelligence, and the courage to adapt, a stable and hopeful financial future is within reach.